Oh, boys and girls, I am excited. The clock is ticking, and the Club World Cup draw is only a few days away, and the pots have officially been announced. So I thought, let's do a video and giving my thoughts on what would be the easiest and hardest group for the Sounders and what teams I would like to see us play. So, like an ideal group for me. You may also be wondering, Sean, why are you wearing the same outfit as in the last video? Because I'm recording both of those videos on the same day, back to back. I don't wear the same clothes every day, okay, if you all were wondering. I'm trying to grind out content for you all, so you're just gonna have to allow it. This will probably be a fairly short video, but a necessary video, because we all probably want to see a variety of teams come to Seattle and face off against our favorite club. Don't forget, I will be live for the FIFA Club World Cup draw this Thursday at 9:45 a.m. So make sure to click the link in the annotation or in the description to head over to the stream, click notify me so you know when I go live. But now that we got that all out the way, here is the pots. Pot 1 being the strongest pot, pot 2 being the second strongest, and pot 3 being the third strongest, and pot 4 being the weakest, which includes us. For all of you that may not totally understand how the draw works, we will draw one team from each one of pot 1, 2, and 3, and then we can't draw anyone in our pot. So we'll be in a 4-team group. I'll first get started with what would be probably the hardest group the Sounders could get. I would probably say Real Madrid and Manchester City would be the toughest teams to get. I know at the time of recording, Manchester City are on like an absolute losing drought. Real Madrid are on the absolute verge of being knocked out of the Champions League from the get-go, but in theory, they'll probably be fine by this point in the season. They'll be back to their normal selves. So I'll actually go with just purely for the firepower, and I think at that point, things will finally pan out for Real Madrid and Mbappe will start clicking with Vinny and X, Y, and Z. I'll go with Real Madrid. In regards to the weakest team, it's got to be one of these teams from Brazil and Argentina, and I'm leaning more towards River Plate or Fluminense, and I'd probably say Fluminense is the weakest team from the bunch. From pot 2, I think it's really between like Chelsea or Inter, but I will probably go with Chelsea based on form and what I'm seeing right now, and maybe slight bias, but it's really between those two teams. In regards to the weakest, I think we have a lot more of a easier answer here. It's definitely Salzburg, because this is all European teams and Salzburg is by far the weakest one. From pot 3, definitely Al Hilal is the strongest team in this group. They have the most talent, the most firepower, so they're definitely the strongest one. In regards to the weakest one, I will say probably Olsen HD or one of the Liga MX teams. Since Sounders have the most like familiarity against the Mexican clubs, we could arguably say them. So to go through it again, definitely the most difficult opponent in pot 1 is Manchester City. Then probably the weakest one is Fluminense. Then from pot 2 is Chelsea. The weakest one probably being Salzburg. From pot 3, the strongest team being Al Hilal, and the weakest one being Olsen HD. If I were to pick my ideal group just from like teams I'd want to see the Sounders face off against at Lumen Field, I already did a video talking about it, but now with the groups, I can have a clear picture and actually make a proper prediction based off of what we could actually see. Even though we would probably lose the game and we might lose it pretty badly and maybe even embarrassingly, I'd like to see us face off against Real Madrid. I would just be curious to see how things would go. We were uber duper super close in our first Club World Cup appearance. If we beat Al Hilal, we would have faced off against Real Madrid, but it was a pipe dream in the end. That would be a pretty cool opportunity to see them play here in Seattle in a competitive match, not a friendly. It would be wild, but it could be an absolute bloodbath, and you would see Sounders fans crying all across the stadium. From pot 2, I've already brought it up in that last video, but Chelsea and Inter are probably my two ideal teams. I will go with Inter because my favorite striker of arguably maybe even all time plays for them, Mehdi Taremi. He plays at Inter. I would love to see him play in Seattle with my own two eyes. I feel like that would be absolutely sick. Then from pot 3, Al Hilal. The Brazilians will sell out Lumen Field to see my guy play in that game. I would go with them, but as well, just for a small shout out, Al Ali for the revenge factor. It would be kind of sick, but I'll go with Al Hilal. So that would mean my ideal group would see us face off against Real Madrid, Inter, and Al Hilal. We'd probably finish in dead last place in that group, but it would be absolutely sick to see any of those teams play in Seattle against the Sounders in a competitive match that actually matters. It is still super bonkers to me that this is actually happening and the Sounders are participating in it, and it's gonna be right here in our own backyard. We all get to attend it. We can all just take the light rail and get to the game. That is a madness. We're living in an absolute fantasy that I don't want to wake up from. But boys and girls, my opinion only matters so much. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Which teams do you want to see the Seattle Sounders draw in their group for this upcoming tournament? Which teams do you not want to see the Sounders draw in their group? You got to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure to smash the like button on today's video. Don't forget, we will be live for the draw, so make sure to be there. Boys and girls, I hope you all have a lovely day.